Let's get to some things, bring it up to date here. Scott Waller, and the upcoming annual meeting for MEC is going to happen very soon.
Yes, on Wednesday, June 16th.
Yeah.
It's right around the corner, just a little over a week away. But
are we going to have some normalcy on this one?
We're going to try to have as much normalcy as possible. We will be doing it a little different in that we will have just a single morning session beginning at 10:30, and then our luncheon will be focused on just the MEC. We did, typically we have combined our education celebration, which is where we honor our star students across the state, with our annual meeting. But with everything going on, we decided we needed to separate those. We did a program for our top 20 back last month that was very successful, and opportunity to recognize the successes of those students. But going forward, it's really time to start thinking about how do we. The whole goal of this, Paul, is really to think about how do we reimagine what we do here in the state. It's an opportunity to really begin to move forward and do some things. I know Jackie was in. I listened to her earlier, and I think that we're really hopefully going to start to see some of our issues with folks not being able to find folks to go to work very soon, but part of that, too, has to be on us to make sure we're providing the right training programs to really focus on getting the skills to not only go back to work, but go back to work in a better place. And that's really kind of what we'll talk about as well when we're at the meeting. If
you want to put a positive spin on this one, Scott, is that there's been probably not a better time in our lifetime for someone who really wanted a job, who really wanted to perform, who really wanted to learn a trade, or who has good work ethics, to go out there and it's the pick, his or her pick.
It really can be, and I think she touched on this too about the training programs that are available today. Yeah. One of the things that I'm really excited about is, and MEC's been pushing this for a number of years, is we now have what is the Office of Workforce Development here in the state, and they announced on Friday they're going to brand it as Accelerate Mississippi, which is kind of in line with what you see in other states with Fast Start and some of those things that are out there. And I think this really does say, look, it's time for us to really hit the accelerator, move things forward. Very excited about Ryan Miller in that role as the head of that division, the executive director. Ryan's bringing some great ideas. He spent a number of years at the Center for Manufacturing Excellence up at Ole Miss, and really has an understanding about what it takes to recruit people into these training programs. That was his job, get people to come through the program there in Oxford. So I think when you look at the opportunities that are ahead of us, you're exactly right. There's been a lot of effort to put some dollars aside through, Mississippi Works funds and some other things to allow us to really do that. I think there's been some of the federal dollars in the COVID recovery have been dedicated to that, and I truly expect there to be more. So I'm excited about that opportunity for people who really do want to upskill, if you will, reskill, to have a opportunity to move into a higher paying job. One of the things that Governor Reeves has talked about really from day one of taking over is how do we raise the per capita income of Mississippians? And this is that opportunity. This is a chance to, as I said earlier, reimagine how we do things in order to really focus on getting us to a place where we can start to try to grow our economy at a much faster rate than what we've seen, and more importantly, create opportunities to keep our best and our brightest right here in Mississippi.
I think the message from us is, through this microphone, is that even if you happen to be, let's say, working as a fast food somewhere at a window or cooking fried chicken, whatever you happen to be doing, and you'd like to step it up, you want to improve yourself. There are so many different programs out there. You have got to, and if you're waiting for me to spoon feed it to you or somebody else to spoon feed it, you don't have the initiative to do it. You're either just going to be unemployed or you're just going to stay there. But I mean, if you go into a fast food operation planning on being a franchise owner or a manager one day, that's the way you got to look at this thing.
Right. And I think that's just it. And I think that a lot of times what people have to realize is while those jobs are extremely important, they're really a stepping stone to something bigger and better. If you can find that place you need to be and have the desire to do so, the opportunity is going to be there. And I think that's what's so good about what we have in front of us now, particularly through the creation of Accelerate Mississippi is that we have the ability to really let people know how you go about learning about that, how you go about getting the training, and then really start matching those that are trained to those that need, those employers who need the workforce.
One of the comments on social media was that I'm a little harsh on people if they don't have a job, and I'm not. But I've worked all my life. I never remember not working. I've never not worked. From when you grew up on a farm, as soon as you're able to get out there and work, you're going to work. Farm or a ranch, you know this, that you're going to be put to work one way or the other. Especially if you're the oldest boy. I mean, that's something that's gonna happen to you. So I make no apologies about that. So I look at the 80,000 people, give or take how many people that Jackie said, was actually drawing benefits over to the point of $4 billion. And I say 80,000, I understand it. We had the COVID. We had a lot of people who needed those, and many still do. But how many of those 80,000 could go back to work if they actually had some a better work ethics and move back into the workplace?
Well, and I think that's part of what we've got to focus on is how we can explain the advantages of doing that. I think you're right. I mean, I'm with you. I mean, I can't remember a time from the time I was really even in high school that I didn't have some type of job. That
Sometimes
I was,
more than one job.
You know, trying to earn a little bit of money to put gas in the car in high school, and then, you know, there was a time in my life I had 2 or 3 jobs just to make sure we're paying the bills. I mean, it is what happens because you have to figure that out. But, you know, there are occasions where it just is tough for someone. But I think if you're dedicated and really want to try to get it, the opportunities they are there like never before right now. Yeah. And I talk to small businesses all the time that are hurting for employees, you know, in large businesses as well. I mean, our manufacturers across the state, I think if John McKay would probably tell you the same thing with the Manufacturers Association. He's hearing the same thing that I'm hearing, that we really are trying to get people back to work. So, number one, our businesses can be productive. They can really succeed because a lot of our small businesses they're hanging on by a thread right now, and they need the employees to be able to provide the service.
It is one of the only things that the governor could do to help this, and governors of other states like Florida and I think Texas and other places have done this. When you look at the state of Mississippi talking about not making an apology for talking about you need to go back to work if you can, we have one of the, if not the lowest workforce participation rate, and I think it's still that, in the United States of America, which means we have more people not looking for jobs, not working, that can, in the entire country.
Exactly. I mean,
not acceptable.
And that's what we've got to focus on.
Yeah.
If I could get in one more plug about annual meeting, June the 16th, next Wednesday, MEC.ms, all the information's there.